Two big guys going at it, boy.
This is a big guy battle. Wow.
Well, an advantage for the Ranger. Remke had no helmet for Johnston, so those punches are going to hurt a little more when they land.
And let them go.
One guy's 6'7", how big's Johnston? 6'5"?
No, I think he's 6'7" also. Yeah, that's pretty good size.
Welcome to the Instigators Hockey Show.
Finally! Well, we've been busy. You've been busy. I've been busy. I've been at concerts.
I've been busy. If you notice, I'm not in my studio. I'm actually down in my dining room. I got some out of town.
You've got tourists. You got tourists at the Hotel Poly.
I got some
Tourists at the Hotel Poly.
So, I don't have my studio tonight, but I got my co-host, and that's all that really matters.
Exactly.
And I got a bad attitude, and I probably have a rant or two. And I'm looking at some of my notes here on my phone.
Bad attitude already.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. You know, one of the major things that I want to talk about, and I don't have all the statistics right now, I'm going to open up the comments room, is, you know, we come into the playoffs, and the NHL has such a big cap, right? The NHL has a hard cap, and it's very difficult for a long period of time to have championship teams, right? So what happens? They spend their money inside the cap. They try to develop players. They try to grow players. But what's really crazy is come the playoff time is we get into this situation where, like Mark Stone in Vegas, okay, the cap this year, I believe, was $82 million. Well, Mark Stone goes out on long-term injury reserve, comes back, and they're $93 million playing in the playoffs. I mean, if you're going to have a hard cap, you got to have a hard rule. You can't have teams. It's an unfair advantage when you hit the playoffs. Well, we went out and made deals in the deadline. Mark Stone was still on long-term IR. Okay, he comes back the day of the first day of playoffs. I don't know, man. You go from having an $82 million cap, now you're at $93 million. That's fucking cheating. I'm sorry.
Oh, shit.
That's cheating.
It's a good thing they lost, right?
But they didn't last year, and they did the same shit last year.
I know. Listen, I've always been against the cap. You know that. Over the years, you and I have discussed it. I personally think there should be no cap. If you ain't got the money to spend on your hockey club, what are you doing in the league for? What are you there for? You know what I mean? Are you there for just so you can look good in your private box or whatever? You know, I think teams should be able to spend what they want, but because they have a cap, obviously management in Vegas and a few other teams too, there's other teams I know as well, have figured out a way how to circumvent the rules of that so-called hard cap. But you know, I think that sucked. You're right, Paulie. I mean, the guy's been out all year, or not all year, but probably the last third of the season, and all of a sudden shows up when the puck drops for the first game of the playoffs. How's that happen? You know what I mean? How's that happen? They got great accountants there in Vegas. That's for sure. That's where all the money is, at the casinos. So, yeah, it sucks. It's something that the NHL's got to take a look at. But I still think if I was commissioner of the league, I'd erase the cap totally. Let teams spend what they want. Plain and simple. That way there's no fooling anybody, Paulie. Either you got the money or you don't. One of the two. What's up, Matt? You there, big boy?
Of course. Of course, I'm having troubles now.
Well, what else? What else to do?
Yeah, I'm having troubles now.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. I
Hey,
think we're
Beth,
caught up.
man, Penny, how you doing? Great job
Oh,
again with the promo for today's show. I love that.
Yeah. All right. I think we're better off. Am I connected to you, Nick, guys? Now,
You are
can
to
you
me.
hear me?
You are to me.
Huh. I'm losing Kotzi.
You haven't got me now? You're all froze up, Paulie. Paulie, you're all froze up.
I'm
Just
gonna
like
have to relocate here, I think.
All right. There he is. Right back. What are you going to pick on the Rangers about today?
Yeah, I know.
What's he going to pick on the Rangers about today? We'll be right back, people. I'm by myself. Come here, boss. Come here, big boy. Say hello to everybody up there. Look at everybody up there. Look at it. Oh, you got the big drools going, don't you? I don't want the big drools on me. Wait. Okay, go lie down now. Okay, go lie down. Lie down. Oh, lie down, big boy. Thank you. I guess I'm the only one here right now. That's Boss, our male Cane Corso, an Italian Mastiff. Luna is in the background somewhere hiding on her mound. Hey, Boss, come here, Boss. While Paulie's trying to fix things here, say hello to everybody, big boy. Come up here. Say hello, up here. Up. Look at that. Look at that, Boss. There he is. Boss, you're going to be a star today. What do you think? Huh? You want to get up? Where are you going? You can't get back there. Okay, he's taking off. I can see you. Boss, get out of here, okay? Come on. I'll your time. I can see it, but it's the same thing again almost. Kind of blurry and slow and back and forth, but whatever.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Let's start.
I think it's going to be better now.
All righty.
Anyway, usually he's in the middle of a real good rant, and this happens. All right. I don't know.
Because he's always got a snide remark about the Rangers. They won 6 games in a row in the playoffs, but it's not good enough for them. That's why. You know, we can point out their faults and their things, but they won, just like they've been doing all year. Anyhow.
So, all right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
All right. Perfect.
All right.
So, I did get some of your rant with the salary cap bullshit, and oh great, I forgot my notes. No, I got them. I think the league is gonna if they're gonna say they have a hard cap, they're either gonna have to make a rule where there's some type of leeway, or they're going to have to, I would love to see the cap go away, like you said, but I think something has to be done.
Well, it should go away. If you're going to have cheaters like that, I mean, that's circumventing all the rules at every team. So it should just be abolished. Like, get in the real world here. The NHL is not just a sport for people's satisfaction. It's also in business to make money, Paulie.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So, you know.
The other part of my rant, I have to do this because I covered this on Facebook too. And I got to tell you, this drives me nuts. And I don't care what anyone has to say. I think it was last week. Okay. Now, I'm an avid hockey fan. I love to watch all the games. Once Sunday night, you don't know Sunday's game until the fucking day before. Like, are you kidding me? How do you push a game and try to make money and bring and market a product when Sunday's game we didn't know about until Friday? And it's like, okay, what time? We don't know what time. We got to wait. And we're just like, this is not how to run. You don't run a business way. You don't market hockey this way. How do you expect to expand the sport and make the money that you're looking for when you can't even offer up, hey, round 2, here's the date and here's the time? People need to know where the product is, where to find the games, what time of the games, and you're just springing this shit on us like it's, like it's a, here's your
Florida
present.
just scored again. They're up 3-1. Just let you know.
Well, I have a
I
real.
agree. Paulie, I agree with you on that crap. You know what the problem is? I hate to say it because I really don't give a shit about their sport, but the NBA brings more money in than the National Hockey League does. So, which 2 teams in New York are now fighting for a championship in their leagues? The New York Knickerbockers and the New York Rangers. And unfortunately for both, they both hold home advantage. So, in other words, hockey has to be subservient towards the NBA on this one. They'll decide first when they want to play, then hockey comes in second. I mean, that's the only excuse I could find for that being a big delay. You know what I mean? When, how, and usually in the playoffs, I can't wait for it. Usually there's the circus in town too, like with the Rangers every year in the playoffs. And they got to do the circus in the daytime, break down the circus, put the rink up, put up the basketball court. But I agree with you. I do agree with you. It shouldn't take you that long to figure it out. I mean, especially you, Gary. You used to be an NBA guy. You should be able to have a little bit of more pep in your talk when you're talking to the NBA about setting up schedules. But
Yeah.
it is. It sucks, but
Very frustrating.
yeah.
And then I don't know if this happened to anybody else, but last night.
Oh, the Heidi game. The Heidi game?
during the first the overtime, they went into Dallas, and I'm like, what the hell?
Stupid ESPN.
Horrible. Just
Say what
horrible
you want. There's a lot of still good people at ESPN that love the game of hockey, like Butchergrass and Levy. I'm not going to say about everybody in the studio as the commentators because some of them suck, but yeah, it was just stupid shit there by ESPN. Think about it. You got an overtime game here, and all of a sudden 15 seconds of hockey disappeared. Just dumb shit by ESPN as usual. And did you see the thing around the boards? How those stupid signs that they have when they come on your TV? It had Florida or Carolina wins during the game.
Really? I didn't notice that.
The boards turned blue or red, had Carolina wins.
Really?
Yeah, it's just, I hate that shit, to be honest with you. All of a sudden you're watching a game, and all of a sudden there's a big circle around a player moving around the ice.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that? Are we back to the blue puck again?
That's how Gary Bettman tries to market the game.
I don't know if he's in charge of it. I think ESPN came up with that wonderful ploy. That's the dumbest thing on earth. Because sometimes it gets in the way of the actual play. Wow. ESPN. That's, I don't watch. The only reason why I watch it is because they got the games on. I don't watch ESPN anymore.
Oh, me too.
For anything.
Agreed. It's the only reason I'm watching it right now.
Dumb shit. Dumb shit as usual from ESPN.
All right, so that's rant number 2. Where am I now? Take a look at my notes. I got.
I'm going to start. I'm going to get my rant in. Officiating again. Officiating again in the NHL. I'm not going to pick any game, although I will probably use something that happened last night in the Ranger game to both teams. But they're so consistently inconsistent, aren't they?
Oh, it's awful.
Like, what's a cross check? What's not a cross check? What's a trip? What's not a trip? I watched all the games last night, okay, and the games previous. You're calling this penalty at 12-minute mark in the second period, but all of a sudden there's 5 minutes to go in the game, and now you're not calling it?
Right.
And this little jockey, what's his name? Kelly Sutherland? Really? What is he, jockey size? Especially standing up to Rempe. How dare he put his fingers out like this to Rempe on that play last night, Paulie? Every team in the league now does something that would have never happened in the 80s. They skate up to the goaltenders now, okay? Right up to them after they make a stop. That would have never happened back in the 80s. We'd have knocked the shit out of them right there and then. But seems how that's the way it is now. Sure, Rempe bumped them a little bit, but he should have killed him after what Svechnikov did to Shesterkin a period earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got little wee Kerry Sutherland going like this to Rempe. Like that guy shouldn't ref another Ranger game. He's already screwed up a couple in the first round with Washington. And I'll be honest with you, last night, that was a lousy call on Trocheck to get them the power play in the overtime. I don't care what you tell me. Brady Shea should not have got a penalty for that. Okay? That so-called cross-check. But neither should a Goodrow early in the game when they gave him the cross-checking penalty. When are these idiots going to let these guys play?
Right. I don't disagree. And
it's so stupid. Like, how do they look themselves in the mirror after a game and go, boy, I did a great job refereeing tonight?
And
really?
It's funny because they originally called Aho.
Yeah.
And then they had to review it. Like, what the fuck, man? You're reviewing calls that you're making because you're that bad at this point.
Wasn't that the hit on D'Angelo? D'Angelo.
No. When you're talking about the trip on Trocheck, wasn't it where they had to get Aho back out of the penalty box?
I think that was earlier in the game, but you could be right. But my whole point of it is that was not a penalty, Paulie. The Rangers got really lucky there in overtime, okay, getting that call. But that same call was made against Goodrow early in the game.
Mm-hmm.
When they went behind the Ranger net and give a Carolina player a little tap with the cross check, and they called him for that too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so stupid. Like, how do you look in the mirror after a game? These referees after the inconsistent bullshit that they've been pulling, and this is all under the league, Paul. Like, I watched Jackson last night, the ESPN former referee, saying that they're going to call that every time. If they called that every time in a game, like like he explained last night about the goal, when the Rangers scored on the power play when Trocheck went down, the games would never end because they're doing it in the corners all the time, Paulie. They're going like this in the corners all the time. It's such bullshit.
Yeah. Well, my next thing, you want to talk about officiating. Kati, there's so much talk, and you and I had a brief talk before we started. Matt Rempe. Everyone's talking about how they feel this guy is just absolutely targeted by the NHL.
He is. He is.
And I mean, this kid can't fucking skate on the ice without everybody scrutinizing everything he does. And I think it's bullshit, and I think it's unfair. And I think it needs to I think there needs to be a discussion. I think there should be a phone call made, and I think somebody should be knocking on Bill Daly's door or whoever else and say, "Listen, man, this fucking kid's out here is playing good hockey, and we're sick and tired of every time he steps on the ice, man, he hits somebody and there's a controversy. I mean, fuck, the guy's 6'8". And at the end of the day, like you said, who is Kelly Sutherland to do this?
Yeah, was he his father? You're not his father.
Just took out his goaltender's legs. If it was me, Rempe paid 4 minutes last night. I would have been happy to kill a fucking 5-minute major for the guy if he takes fucking what's his name, Frederick Anderson. Totally. Takes him out. Just knock him the fuck out then. If that's what's gonna happen. If you're gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna run the fucking goaltender. How about that? Or I'm gonna run Aho. Or I'm gonna run somebody.
What about what happened in the first game with Rempe too? He goes to the net, Stahl pushes him into the goaltender. And they called Rempe for goalie interference.
It's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible.
That was blatant. Stahl pushed him over his own goaltender, and they give Rempe a penalty.
If I was running the Rangers, if I was either their coach, if I was Laviolette, I would say, hey, I need video, as much video as you can get me, and it shouldn't be too hard, on all Rempe's shifts. And every one of them that he was called for a penalty, like that one that you're talking about, when he gets cross-checked and he gets pushed into the goalie, I would put this video together. I would send it to the league and say, what the fuck? What are we doing? What are we doing? Because it's not just about – he's targeted all the time.
Unfortunately, Paul, I think it's good that we're pointing this out and bringing it up. But unfortunately for Peter Laviolette and the coaching staff, they can't be worried about that shit right now because – they're trying to win a game and they're trying to win playoff hockey, but it's so obvious. It's so obvious that they're not letting this guy play his game. He has to slow it down now when he goes after a guy. He has to, make sure his wings are tucked in now, nice and tight, because the other guy's 5'11". You know what I mean? But the whole thing is just bullshit. When Stahl pushed him in there, I just couldn't believe it. That's what I'm talking about. They are so consistent at being inconsistent with their calls. And they are targeting Rempe. I don't care what anybody says. They are.
I believe it. And that brings me to my next, and I don't want to do too much Ranger stuff because I want to talk about some other things, but it brings me to my next discussion that you and I had. This put Laviolette in a bad spot with playing Matt Rempe. I mean, I know we talked about it. I love the guy. I want to see him in every game. I know you said, and people text me and I was like, listen, Rempe has a job to make people think about him. Rempe's job right now is getting in the heads of defensemen and other players. Oh my God. Is this guy going to fucking make me see next week? Is this guy going to damage me? And that's what Rempe's doing. He's doing a good job at it. But at the end of the day, he's playing 4 or 5 minutes a game, if he's lucky, 5 minutes a game. And he's targeted every time he plays, and it puts the Rangers in a bad spot. Oh, fuck, we got to kill another penalty because they're targeting Rempe. Where does that put Laviolette? At what point do you say, oh, shit, I might have to take the guy out of the lineup? Or do you just run with it?
You run with it. I'm not taking Matt Rempe out of the lineup. I don't care if he doesn't play a shift, to be honest with you. Listen, as little playoffs that I played in the National Hockey League, I can remember with the Leafs, we went to the second round, one game away from going to the conference championship. That whole playoffs with Chicago and St. Louis that year, we went down to 4 defensemen almost from the start of the game. Mm. We went down to like 3 lines from the start of the game. This thing would be great if you got 4 full lines that you can count on to play great defensively and great offensively, Paulie, but they don't. They don't have that luxury. So in order for the Rangers to be successful, Lavallette's doing the right thing. He's cutting the bench down at the right times. And you don't need 4 lines. Anybody that says you need 4 full lines to win Stanley Cups, I'd like you to go back and see how much ice time the 4th line got on every team in the last 20 years, overall. Listen, I'd like to see Rempe get his ice time, no question about it. But I don't think he's worried about it himself personally. Well, you see him on the bench. He's got a smile on his face. He's standing up every time a Carolina guy goes by. And that's all you need right now. He'll get his 2-3 shifts a period. That's all he needs. He don't need any more than that. No. I'm not worried about whether the Rangers, maybe you should put Hedel in or you should put Brzezinski in. Well, they're 6-0 with Rempe in the lineup in the playoffs. Why would you change the lineup?
Agree. So, all right, we're gonna talk Rangers, but I want to move on a little bit.
All right.
Copy.
Yeah.
2 things we got to do, and you decide. You want to do Leafs, or you want to just kind of knock out the Utah thing? Which one you want to do first?
I'm going to do the Leafs because it's former team of mine. There's still a little soft spot in my heart for them. You know that.
I know.
You got to feel for the Leaf fans. They are the most probably in the NHL most tortured soul. Right now. Tortured
like
soul.
the Ranger fans used to be.
Well, Ranger fans are going on 30 plus years now too, Foley. So we're not too far behind, but.
No, I know.
Yeah, just tortured souls. I mean, you went down 3-1 against Boston. You came back. You won 2 games. It looked like things are going good. You didn't have your full lineup. Matches missed 3 games out of the whole series. I think 4 games. But the only thing I'm going to say realistically is what the fuck were the Leafs doing in overtime? The 6 guys on the ice. Yes, that includes the goaltender. Paulie, I played almost 10 full years in the NHL. I knew the difference of a slughead on the ice and a superstar on the ice. Okay? Sluggo I didn't have to worry about. But where's the superstar? Not one Leaf defenseman had an idea that Pasternak was on the ice. Mitch Marner gets paid $10.5 million or $11 million a year, was with Pasternak the whole time from the center ice to the blue line. And then he just lets him go. And in the meantime, everybody else just had a brain freeze and stopped playing. Puck comes off the boards, not 4 feet in front of the net.
Yeah.
And that's how you end your season because you all fucking fell asleep? All of you, all 6, including the goalie. How do you not know that Pasternak's not on the ice? How do you know? I don't understand that. I knew when Gretzky was on the ice. I knew when Lemieux was on the ice. Let's see. Is Pasternak the best player in the Boston Bruins?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why wouldn't you know that he's on the ice in overtime? Why would you not know where he is at all times? All the Leafs, the diehard Leaf fans are going to give it the old, they showed a lot of guts and a lot of... Yeah, they did. I'll give you that. But you just had a total brain fart freeze. All 6 guys. And these guys aren't rookies anymore. I saw Morgan Riley out there. Saw Marner out there. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. And Wall was the goaltender. I think it was Wall, not Samsonov. It was Wall. You know what I mean? Like, come on, guys. A goal like that should never happen in overtime. Period. But they all fell asleep at the same time. Now it's going to cost probably Keefe his job. Okay? It's probably going to cost Marner his spot in Toronto. They're probably going to trade him in the summer. And rightfully so, they might be getting rid of Brendan Shanahan too. He's been there 10 years, Paulie. They've won 1 playoff round.
Yeah.
That's it with the Leafs. You got anything to add to it? You got anything to add to it? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, man, I mean, I was really surprised that Matthews missed those games. I was really I really thought that the Leafs, they did, like you said, they did show some urgency, but I thought it was a little too little, a little too late. This team was projected to make a run, and especially with the fucking talent that they have offensively. You know, and I thought that they had Boston on the ropes at times, and it just, you know, I mean, just really surprised. And I tell you, the other thing, and I wasn't kidding when I put that on your Facebook when I said, "Is fucking Toronto on fire?" Because I said to myself when they were down 3 games to 1, I said, "Oh my god, if the fucking Leafs don't win a game here, that place is gonna burn to the ground, dude." I'm telling you right now. I wasn't kidding when I said that. I was like, "Oh my god." So they did win those 2 games, thank God, because could you imagine if they would have got bounced 4 games to 1? I think it would have been
I,
even worse.
yeah,
But you're right.
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if the Leaf fans have that in them to burn the city down, Paulie. I think they're just like they're a zombie, like they're numb to it. You know what I mean? They have high hopes. They walk around with their jerseys on, and they get all pumped up. And I was there for a while, and I know what it's all about. But I think they're so numb to the idea. You got to remember, 1967 is the last time they won a Stanley Cup. That's a long time ago. A lot of people have died that were Leaf fans from that time to now. You know what I mean? So a lot of them just walk around, I think, like same old shit every year. We can cheer them all we want, but
You don't have to tell me, man. I heard the chants in 1940 for a long time, man. It wasn't fun. The Rangers went 54 years without a Stanley Cup, and I was in that era, and heartbroken. So when they won it in '94, it was like a deep breath. But I get it.
30 years ago now. It's 30
Yeah.
years.
That's what I said. They're at the cusp where I'm frustrated. 1 cup in 84 years, man.
Yeah.
Well,
At least can't say they can say they won a few. They won like 4, I think, like that in the '60s. So
I mean, they have a total of how? Yeah, but they've won.
I was alive for them. I'm that old. I was alive for all of them.
They have a total of how many cups? 6 cups, right?
Who, the Leafs?
Yeah.
Oh, they got more than 6 cups total.
I mean,
they're in double digits somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. The Rangers have 4 fucking Stanley Cups. The original 16. That's not an easy pill to swallow, man.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I understand the pain of the Maple Leafs fan, but okay.
But it's the hockey mecca. That's the big thing about it. It's the hockey mecca in North America.
I get it.
And as much as I saw your comment about the city being on fire, they're just numb to it, Paulie.
Yeah. Shame, man.
It's 4-1 now.
Yeah, I see it.
Turn the Jets on. All right, let's. You want to do a quick Utah thing, or you want to get right into the Rangers? Yeah. What do you want?
No, we're gonna do quick Utah, and then we're gonna move on. Because we have so much playoff hockey to talk about. All I have to say is about fucking time. Period. The end. It's about time. You talked about it. You thought it was Utah. I was just like, they got to move this damn team out of Arizona. I mean, it's been, 12, 15 years maybe they've been there?
Yeah. I think it's
it's great.
I think it's longer than that.
Is it 15 years? Anyway, thank God. So I would like to see them keep the Coyotes name, the Utah Coyotes, but whatever they name them. There was a couple. I thought the Utah Yetis was pretty cool. They had a couple of cool names out there, but I just hope that that poor franchise can move on now and taste acceptance in the world of hockey. Let's just put it that way.
Well, I hope they do. I still need to be convinced that it's an NHL caliber city that they're going to in Utah. I need to be convinced. I know. The rush of this and the rush of that. Everybody's all excited there, but the one thing I don't know if you read though, Paulie, that Gary Bettman has allowed the last owner of the Coyotes the opportunity to get a team back there. Oh, yeah, you got to start reading on it again. If they can find an arena, get an arena built, he's giving them the opportunity to go back and play there.
Now, how bad management that is.
Well, it's all about the money. Look, it's all about the money. They're talking, Paul, you know what they're talking? I don't know if you know this, but they're talking $1 billion now to get a franchise in the NHL. $1 billion. That's
hilarious.
You take a look at the other teams that came into the league in the last 10 years, like or Seattle and stuff. They didn't pay $1 billion. They paid good money, but they didn't pay $1 billion.
No, yeah.
I don't know. I still think if you're going to go anywhere next, it's got to be a Canadian city. I really do.
Yeah.
Up to Quebec again, one more time. Why not? You tried Atlanta twice. It didn't work. You know?
I don't disagree with you. I think Quebec should be the next city. I don't know. You think
Beth, you're the best. Toronto has 13 Stanley Cups.
Yeah, I knew I was.
I knew they were double digits. I knew that. But Montreal has 24.
Yeah, they're second behind Montreal. Yeah. Yep. Kind of missed my train of thought there, but regardless.
You're talking about going back to Quebec and Utah and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think I was going to ask you, do you think Pennsylvania can afford another team?
Where?
Pennsylvania, where you're at.
Where are they going to put it?
You got Philly. You got the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah, you got the Pittsburgh Penguins.
You got the Penguins.
And where else are you going to put it? Where are you going to put? Where are you going to put another team in Pennsylvania? Think about it.
The Pennsylvania Chickens. Here we go.
Like,
that's hilarious. The refs are consistent in calling crap on Rempe, even if he plays 2 minutes a game. Yep, we definitely believe that.
Absolutely.
I think it's a real problem, and I think the league needs to be addressed. I think the officiating team needs to be addressed, and honestly, I think they should put together some video and ship it off and say what the fuck. But we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about we haven't talked in 2 weeks about where we are in the playoffs. We didn't even get to do our
we did do our picks. We didn't get to do the second round one.
I don't even think we were able to do the.
Yeah, we did. Yes, we did.
So
I took Tampa because you forced me into it. Remember? I admitted it. I'm taking Tampa, and I knew it was a loss right off the bat. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was a loss right off the bat. But you had Winnipeg. You had Winnipeg over Colorado.
I did.
Boy, did they go for a shit after the first game.
Yeah, they did.
They went for a major league shit after the first game. Okay, then we both had Vancouver. Although Vancouver got lucky when Sissons hit the goalpost in Game 3. I mean, they could have been up 2-1.
Yeah.
Okay, and instead, what else did we have? I had Colorado over Winnipeg. You had Winnipeg. I know what we had. I had the Leafs in 7. I think you probably took Boston or something like that. Probably. I don't know. I don't remember that one. I had the Rangers over Washington. You had Rangers over Washington. What did we miss now? Oh, and we had Edmonton over. We both had Edmonton over LA.
I'll look at my notes, but yeah, you're right. I think it's close enough. But I got to tell you, I'm really kind of. I mean, the teams that are playing right now are the teams that should be playing.
Yeah, you look at the East right now. I think it's the top 4 teams. The top 4 teams.
Yeah,
in the
East is a beast. Yep, the East is a beast. And Dallas. I mean, I tell you what, man.
Boy,
that's a real team.
Yeah, the Dallas is really good, but boy, what happened last night, Paulie? I'm watching the Ranger game right till they scored. I saw 3-0, 3-0, 3-0. Then I saw 3-1 after the first period. Then I saw 3-2 early in the third. I go, here comes Colorado. And I watched the end of that in overtime, and tell you what, Dallas was all over them in overtime. And the first big chance that Colorado had, bang, in the net, final 4-3.
Bang in the back of the net, yeah. I think, I think two teams right now that have really picked it up, and I don't know, they're kind of moving with the momentum. One of them is the Boston Bruins, and even though they're getting blown out tonight, it looks like they're losing 4-1. I think that game is practically over. But going into Florida, winning game one handedly after maybe a 24-hour turnaround, I thought that was pretty impressive. And then, like you said, Colorado last night. Colorado had a tough series, and they
won 4 straight against Winnipeg, Paulie, after they lost 7-6.
Yeah, and I think every game was pretty tight, and they had their ebbs and flows, man. But they're really impressing me with their comeback abilities and their never say die attitude, man. So
everybody's healthy in Colorado, from the Rantanens, from the Lettanens, and all that stuff now. And Georgia played great last night. He played almost as good as Shesterkin played last night for the Rangers. That's how good he played for Colorado last night. After he gave up 3 goals, he shut the door on him.
So, yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. I agree. And he didn't look good. He didn't look real sharp in the first period there.
No, but he shut the door after that. I watched a lot of it. So
yeah. I tell you, you were talking about Nashville. I'm going to Nashville next week. I was kind of hoping they were still going to be in it because I wanted to catch a playoff game. I'm going to be there next week.
They could have been better. I mean, that outcome could have been a little better. I'm not saying they would have beat Vancouver, but boy, they had some games there that they lost. I mean, they were ahead, I think, in game one, and Vancouver tied it up and won it late. And then I think that game, like I said, Sissons he tried to backhand one in the empty net there when the score was 3-1, and then it hits the post. And that was a crucial miss because Vancouver came back and scored 2 goals in like the last 2 minutes. The last one was like 6 seconds on the clock.
Right.
Then they ended up winning it. So Nashville showed a lot of balls for a team that nobody really like picked, even though they had a hot ending towards their season. I mean, they won a lot of games, but I don't know. Now let's before we get to the Rangers, let's make our picks now, even though we know some of the things. I call Rangers in 6, okay? That's what I'm calling. Okay, right now. Calling them in 6. I'm sorry, you know what? I'm gonna go against the grain. I'm going with Boston. I'm gonna go Boston. I don't know how many. I'm going with Boston.
I'm rooting for Boston. I'll tell you that.
Are you rooting?
I would rather the Rangers play Boston. I would rather the Rangers play Boston, Florida. Do you agree with that or no?
I don't know about that. I think that even though the Rangers beat them every time this year, they played. Boston's a different team though. Like right now, they put some different guys in their lineup. This Lorelei and Brazo and all that stuff. They're monstrous again. Like there's not a small guy on that team except Marchand. They're very big, kind of like Vegas was last year. Big squad.
Dallas is a pretty big team.
Dallas? Yeah, but Dallas don't play. The only guy that plays real mean out there is Jamie Benn. Nobody else plays mean on the team.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna take Colorado in probably 6 over Dallas, and I'm gonna take Edmonton over Vancouver.
I was going to ask you, what are you expecting tonight with first game 2 series, second series, game 1? That's what are you expecting? I mean, it's really kind of very, very 2 different dynamics. You got Connor McDavid, who's just, one of the world's greatest, and you got a Vancouver team that kind of wins games by committee. And I don't, I would love to say I want Edmonton to win that series just for the city of Edmonton and McDavid. But do you think they have what's in? You think they have what's in the tank to do so?
I, I've been waiting for Edmonton to win for the last 9 years. You know, with two of the best players in the world on a team, they're always at the top of the scoring every year. You know, they need that. They need a Stanley Cup to put the feather in their cap, Paul,
Yeah,
to solidify their superstar status in my mind.
right.
So I'm going with Edmonton. Vancouver's. I think what you're going to see between the two teams. I feel Edmonton and Vancouver are going to be two of the fastest teams that play each other speed wise.
Yeah.
It's going to be fast hockey up and down the ice, guaranteed.
Right.
I don't think it's going to be an overly physical series.
I'll bounce to the other side. I'll say Dallas and Vancouver. Obviously, I'm going with the Rangers. And I think Florida is going to win.
All right, we're allowed.
So
We're allowed to
now
make
that's
that's the whole thing about it. Is that way we can argue with each other about what happened.
yeah. Well, I mean, and it's not who I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for Boston over Florida, and I'm rooting for Edmonton, and I'm definitely rooting for. I think, and I don't want to look too far ahead, but you know, the Rangers. If the Rangers win this series, okay, because Carolina is one of the cup favorites, and you can see why. And then if they have to play Florida, that's another cup favorite. Okay, and they're a good team. They're pretty rounded. And then to have to go and play someone like Dallas, whew, boy, oh boy, is that going to be one hell of a Stanley Cup run, boy.
Well, listen,
So,
no series is over. Even though the Rangers got a 2-game lead, that all they did was hold serve, as they say in tennis. Okay,
yeah,
I mean, you got to go. You got to go with the mindset. You're going into Carolina. You want to steal one game.
got to steal one.
So you might as well try and take the third game. Instead of like waiting for the fourth game, go in there try and win that third game and get that super edge game wise, and get the Carolina team thinking about what's going wrong. I mean, stuff like that. But
If you were going to write the game plan for this team going into Carolina, let's break it down. Let's talk some New York Ranger hockey. We're going into Carolina. They just came off a very emotional, exciting, probably,
it's a great game to watch last night, even though I think both teams at times, weren't at their best. How's that?
Right. That's a game that I think the Rangers. I think we could all kind of agree. Shesterkin and the New York Rangers
stole
that one.
Yeah,
but that's great. That's great for momentum. It's great for psyche. It's great for a lot of things. Once in a while, I got to steal one. And I think it does the opposite on Carolina. Like, fuck, we threw everything we had at them and we lost.
Yeah.
I think game 3 here is huge. I think Rangers win game 3. If they can pull out game 3, I think that really gets into the mind of Carolina, and I think it boosts the Rangers' confidence through the wall, because that's really where you got the stranglehold, and you just need 1 out of 3 after that. So,
well, I think they go into Carolina, Paul. You got, they got the loud crowd there. They got the guy with the big horn blowing and all that shit there. They gotta get through the first 10 minutes of the game, without giving up any goals, without making too many mistakes, and, making the crowd noise get a little lower and lower. That, you know what I mean? Play that kind of hockey. Play smart hockey right off the bat. But, deep down, I mean, I don't think the Rangers are going to change much of their style. I mean, it's just, this is what they've done all year. And a lot of people, including my co-host, kept waiting for the shoe to fall. You got to admit it. You were all year like boom, boom, boom. I don't think it's going to change, Paulie. This is what they are. This is what they do. You get penalties against them, you're going to fucking pay for it.
Yeah.
Their power play's on point right now. The penalty killing's on point right now. Shesterkin's like a big wall in the net right now. He gave up 3 goals yesterday, but a couple of them were deflections. So, but he shut them down in overtime and on the power play. At the end of the game, remember that there? Two guys had 2 chances for Carolina. They could have ended it there. But this is how they play. They come from behind. Yeah. They came from behind yesterday. You know what I mean? They've been doing it all year. I don't think much is going to change. But I wrote it last night, and I'm gonna mention it again. I would like to see their man-on-man defensive zone coverage a lot better. Guys are looking at the damn puck too much and not knowing where players are on the other team. And for the life of me, the first 2 games, the New York Rangers defense, I swear, backed inside their blue line a minimum of 20 feet. Carolina crossed the ice with too much ease, Paulie. And I don't know about you, but if you think you got a good shot in the NHL, you let me get 20 feet inside the blue line, I'm letting it rip. Fortunately for the Rangers, they blocked a lot of shots, and Shesterkin was there to make the saves. But you can't play like that every game and expect that to happen.
Yeah. Well, I think overall, last night was probably the first night I saw the Rangers go through that hills and valleys that you get, the ebbs and flows in a game, because
you sound like Lavalette. That's what he said.
For the first 5 games, this team has been
5-1.
I think this team has been playing cohesively. I think all cylinders are fired. I think first, and we have to talk about it, fucking Mika Zibanejad is on a rip. He looks fantastic. He's flying. He's shooting. He's scoring. He's doing everything. He's playing great defense. Killing Chris Kreider. Listen, everyone knows I'm the biggest critic. Last night, I watched him play physical, man. He actually was getting double shifted a lot by Laviolette. He was playing I think he was playing with Cooley, or on the 4th line with Jimmy Vesey as well. And he was grinding it out, and he wasn't doing the drive-bys. He was actually making body contact. And it's stuff like that. And we had, I know we have talked about it. I specifically remember talking about it a million times. I think they've played their best hockey. And last night, they kind of stole one, but I just think they're playing real good. So like you said, they need to tighten it up and then go into Carolina and maybe, hopefully this is going to be a 3-2 game. In Carolina, they're going to kind of tighten. They're going to tighten up.
How about Trocheck?
Oh, what can you say about him? He's going to be the fucking Rangers. If the Rangers win the Stanley Cup,
if you got money out there, guys, I'm just letting you know. Put $100 on him to win the MVP in the playoffs. I bet you the odds on DraftKings or whatever are sky high. He's got 10 points. 10 points in 6 games. Mika's got 11 in 6 games.
You want to talk about a guy who has shown up in these playoffs. You want to talk about a guy who has
showed up all year, Paulie. You showed up all year.
Yeah, that's true. No doubt. But you want to talk about a guy who has been just a catalyst for this team all year, like you said, but especially here in these playoffs, man, just chipping away. And Lafreniere last night, it was the first time we saw him. I'd like to see something out of Kakko. I've been real disappointed with Kakko.
He hasn't done much at all. Lafreniere, regardless, he had 5 points going into last night's game. He just hadn't scored yet.
Yeah.
So he's got 7 points in 6 games. You can't complain.
No, you can't complain. He's played. I think he's played well. I really like one of my biggest things, and I said this last year too. One of the things I really like about Lafreniere is what I like about Will Cooley. They play good hockey without the puck. I like Lafreniere's game without the puck. The back checks hard. He's physical. He goes in the corners. He tries to win puck battles. He does all the little things. He just don't. Plus, he's talented as hell, and we're starting to see that.
You see that second goal that he scored? A beautiful pass from Fox. Okay, that whole play started Lafreniere taking a hit on the boards and getting the puck out into the middle. I can't remember if it was Panarin. I think it was Panarin. He got the puck to Panarin, but when they showed the replay of it, he took off afterwards and chased all the way down the ice and went straight to the net and got that awesome pass from Fox. The other thing I'm going to mention too that somebody brought this up to me and I started noticing it. You know how many penalties teams from Washington to even Carolina, Will Cooley has got them to take? Like Will Cooley's made other teams take penalties against him.
Yeah, I love that kid.
You know,
I'd love to see him hit the score sheet, man.
Well, he almost did last night. He had that one good shot there, and it was good saved by Freddie. But
yeah, I love him, man.
His time's going to come, Paulie. His time's going to come. Maybe not this year.
We rant and rave about Will Cooley's game. He's really smart player for such a young player. He's so good without the puck. I mean, his positioning is good. He just knows where to be. I mean, it's very rare you see Will Cooley make a mistake.
Yeah, the next time that I think in the future, and this is going to be awesome for him to play in the Stanley Cup playoffs like so far this year. But the experience he's getting now will bode well for the future for him because he's going to get more responsibility next year, Paulie, and he's going to get more ice time. And that's where you're really going to see him grow as a player. Right now, he might not get the ice time that he probably wants, but that's because you got all the rest of the guys up top doing their jobs right now. The top six players are doing their job. Even Roslovic is playing pretty damn good too. I mean,
yes,
he's creating on offense out there too. So
yes. Hey, I don't want to interrupt you. Is that Michael Mason?
No, that's Ryback. That's Ryback again. He can't wait for the Rangers to lose a game. That's all there is about Ryback.
No, there's a Michael. It just says Michael.
Michael Ryback. I don't have that on there yet. But Michael Ryback, he just can't wait. Yeah, that's Mike Mason, the bottom one. I just got it now. But the Ryback guy, he just can't wait for the Rangers to lose. All I'm going to keep doing is, how's fucking Montreal doing? Them pieces of shit.
Well, listen. I want to stop the show for a minute, and I want to say, hey, Michael, everybody's rooting for you, man, and I'm glad that you're listening to the podcast.
You've been on I read today he's got 2 more weeks and he might be out of the hospital. Good
for you, man. You've been on my mind. I want you to know that, and I'm wishing the best for you. Prayers and love to you, man. I'm glad to see you here. It's awesome. So you keep fighting, big boy. You're gonna beat this thing. You're gonna make it. So, yeah, Roslovic. You brought him up. I got to tell you, I felt so disappointed over the last 20 games that he was playing. I'm like, oh my god. I mean, he kind of was like, you could see the skating ability. He's fast. He's got hands, but he has been invisible. And we didn't see it. We didn't see it with Kreider and Zibanejad, but he's been pretty good through these playoffs, man. Yeah. He's making his presence felt. His speed is really helping the Rangers cut through the neutral zone, get into the zone, and then obviously he just needs to shoot. I think he needs to just shoot. Please shoot. He scored that beautiful goal.
In Boston, the Penguin is going after Montour right now.
Yeah, I don't care. It's 6-1. That game's over. But
it's a 5-on-5 fight.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, it's Florida just scored again, so Boss is going back to the big bad Bruins days of trying to goon it up before then.
It's awesome. Anyway, I don't know. What else you got?
No, that's about it. I think we covered as much as we could, considering we were off for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, playoffs are playoffs. I just wish the refereeing was equal for both teams. You know what I mean? So we none of us can sit back and look at the TV and go, "What the fuck was that?" You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Give both teams a fair shake. That's all. That's all I ask for.
I agree, and stop picking on Matt Rempe. That's
Yes.
for sure.
And the next time Kelly Sutherland, you want to talk to Matt Rempe, stand on a chair.
I'm very impressed with this Ranger team. I hope they keep it going. Obviously, everyone here does, and what do they got? They did 6. You need 16. What do we need? 10 more wins. All right, you need 16 wins. They got 6 wins. We need 10 more wins out of them. So, really impressed though overall. Like you said, and last night was the only night where they still stole a game, but
Well, that's what he's there for, though. Think about it.
yeah,
That's what Shesterkin's in net for.
the coverage could have been a little bit better last night, but in the end, they stole one, and that's good. And they're the comeback kids, so it was good to see. And the big guys are scoring the big ones, man. Kreider scoring, Zibanejad scoring. You can't, Panarin's been on the score sheet too, man. Lots of assists. Lafreniere picked it up last night with a couple of big goals, and like you said, 6 points in 6 games. Really can't ask more than that.
No.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure in Fox's points, but
He's doing all right.
the guys that we
All right.
need. And Trocheck, what does Trocheck got? 10 points.
Got 10 points. He's second behind Zibanejad.
So, just all the right guys are doing it. I like to see the bottom 6 chip in a little bit. I think VC needs a little more playing time, but we'll see what happens.
Well, again, Lavalettes not going to change this thing, Paul. He's going to, when he needs to, when he feels like he's going to cut it down to 3 lines, he might double shift a couple guys on the 4th line. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Put guys on the 4th line once in a while, but I don't think they need to change much. Like I said, get through the first 10 minutes of the game tomorrow and go from there.
Yeah, agreed. The first 10 minutes are going to be intense, but keep it together. All right, that's it. That's all I got.
That's it. We did it.
We'll see everybody sometime next week. We'll get back to some normalcy. Okay.
Yes, sirree.
All right, everybody.
You guys are all joining in on the comments there, and now I'm going to sit back, babysit my dogs, get a big glass of water, and watch the late game. Actually, I think you should do it from your bedroom every time. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to learn how to use one of them laptops.
Let's go Rangers, man. Tonight's a big night.
Exactly.
All right, everyone. We'll see you in a week. We'll let you know. We're going to, like I said, we're going to get back to some normalcy. So, good night, guys.